The following is a presentation of the Spartan Media Network.
Welcome to the Spartan Media Network from Playfly Sports.
Here comes Spears. 73-70 is the score. On the side, Ukachuko. He got it! He got it! We are tied at 73. Rebound Ward. He's going to go all the way. Oh, what a slam! He slammed right over top of a 7-1 guy.
Stevenson's trying to time it up, and he just got posterized.
I want that poster.
It is time for the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance, Simple Human Sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by Meyer, supporting hundreds of sports teams across the Midwest. Labatt Blue Light, we're brewed for the roast. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. And Coors Light, choose chill. Now, alongside Mike Garland and Michigan State head basketball coach Tom Izzo, here's the voice of Spartan basketball, Will Tieman.
And a pleasant good evening to everybody around the great state of Michigan and beyond. And welcome into our final Tom Izzo Show. And welcome into March, everybody. It's a good time of year. It's a good time of year. And Tom's guys did something that is extremely hard to do. Number one, they won at Purdue. And if you've not been there for a game, you know how difficult that is. And just for fun, yesterday they swept Indiana by beating not only Indiana, but we owned the state. How about that? And Tom was in a really good mood in the postgame show, which is most important.
Yeah, you know what? You're Spartans. You're players, not your coaches. Your players did a hell of a job. I mean, it was a tough atmosphere down in Purdue. I mean, Indiana is still good, and the atmosphere is not quite like it was when I remember my first time there as a head coach, and I was standing outside at my my bench, after the final warm-ups. You go out in the last 3 minutes and you stand there. You usually go down and shake the coach's hand and say hello. And I'm looking down there and there's no Bobby Knight. And there's 2 minutes left and there's no Bobby Knight. And there's 1 minute left and there's no Bobby Knight. And the three officials are seeing that I'm a little nervous, so they're half laughing at me. And then all of a sudden I hear the crowd rise up. I'm looking around, and all of a sudden with 30 seconds left, he comes walking out and the place goes bonkers, like something I've never seen. And I felt like a gladiator, like I was supposed to go to war or something. And he walked down and he patted me on the back and he said, "Let me tell you something, Tom. You see these three guys in front of you? They might be the worst officials in the history of the game." And he said, "This guy here," and they got his back to him, but they can hear him, never calls traveling. This guy never calls 3 seconds, and this guy's never called a charge in his life. And he said, "Good luck," and he walked away. So I was nervous. I didn't know what the refs, and I look at the refs, and they are laughing their butts off. It was like, I wasn't laughing, but it was good. But it was a heck of a week for us. Players did a heck of a job. My staff did a heck of a job. When you have a Thursday, Sunday, a quick turnaround, and you're on the road, and you get in at 2, the next day as a grind. And we for Purdue, we hadn't played them yet, and so that's a tough turnaround. And then, of course, we had played Indiana, but it was a long time ago. And I must say, I thought we got better in both games. I mean, we did some things when we shot it better, when we guarded it better. And, we took a little step up. I still, sometimes I say 25 or 24-5, and haven't been that very often here. And if I admitted that it was a little bit of surprise from what I thought the year could be like, I thought it could be good, but it's been a great year, and that's a tribute to those players. So we got some games left. Big game this week, and it's senior night, which is special. The uniqueness of our senior night is not only our players, our managers, our student secretaries. It's a happening. It's too bad that the students are gone, but it gives the other fans a chance to see them, and I think it'll be a good night. You know, Rutgers just had a 19-point halftime lead on Maryland at Maryland, and you know, they gave us, probably outplayed us most of the game at their place. So there's never an easy night, as you can tell by all the other teams that have struggled and what's gone on in college basketball. There's been a lot of upsets in the last 2 weeks, and this is the time of year they happen. So let's hope it doesn't happen to us here. It'd be nice to win that game and then have some fun.
You know, it was great to see Curtain hitting those threes, but even more impressive was the fact that he played a little defense.
Oh, yeah. They were all teasing him that, I bet your coach's mother can guard you tonight, Curtain.
That's actually pretty good.
That's actually pretty true. But Mike's right. He got a couple big rebounds, and he took a step forward. So, we're plodding along, and we just we're really shooting well from the free throw line. That's important. We cut our last 5 games, our turnovers down to under 9.5. That's important. We're still rebounding pretty well. Believe it or not, we're not guarding the 3 quite as well. And I say that, and if you watch the game, you probably thought Indiana hit 100 threes. They hit 10, but they took 35 or 6 shots, right?
Yeah.
So they shot 28%, which any day of the week, that's phenomenal. It just, I don't feel like we're guarding the 3 quite as well. And that hurts that we're down 1 guard since Devine's gotten hurt. We're playing guys a little bit to death, and we got to figure that out yet. And that's what today was, a day of mental prep. Even though there's no school, my luck, there's no school, there's no rules. And yet I feel like I can't just go morning, noon, and night with them, although tomorrow I might try it. So today was a day off, and we just had film sessions and walkthroughs and gave them some rest. So we cleaned up some things we thought we did wrong in both those games. And tomorrow we're going to have an offensive practice, a little break, and then a defensive practice. And Wednesday it'll be as regular, and then let's play.
Well, when we come back, I'm going to ask Tom about one of the greatest quotes you'll find in the Breslin Center. And I've been meaning to do this all season. And since this is the last show, I guess I better get it in. We'll do that in a moment, but first a break right here. You're listening to the Tom Izzo Show, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance on the Spartan Media Network.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Hi, I'm Chef Franklin Becker. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer. It starts with our team and people like you. University of Michigan Health Sparrow is hiring for a wide variety of roles at all experience levels. Unlock your potential and discover a fulfilling career at one of our award-winning hospitals and health centers. We make a difference every day, together. Join us at careers.ufmhealthsparrow.org.
And welcome back to the Coach Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Don't forget, it's all coming to you tonight from One North Bar and Grill in East Lansing. Well, if you go around the basketball office of the Breslin Center and the bowels of it, you'll see some pretty neat pictures. You'll see some really clever, inspirational sayings. And the other day, and I've meant to do this for a long time, there's one in the Breslin Center that I've looked at for a long time, and it just always gets to me. It's a picture of us on the aircraft carrier. And above it is this phrase, moments of work for a lifetime of memories. So I asked Tom, where did that come from? And the answer was pretty amazing.
Me.
Right.
Mike was with me. We were in Syracuse, New York, and we were playing Louisville in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. And CBS asked to come in the locker room, and you kind of give them more access. I cut it off when they wanted to catch Mike in the shower, but other than that, they get a lot of access. And the producer is a good friend of mine he did a big thing for all the Final Fours I was in, Steve Shear. Yeah. His son is now a manager for me. And he says, can you do me this favor? Can I have a halftime or a pregame speech? And I don't like to do that stuff. And if it wasn't him, I wouldn't have done it. And, it wasn't anything I was thinking of. And then I'm looking at my guys and I said, I think I had, was it Denzel? Was he on that team?
Denzel and Little Rat.
Yeah, little
Trice.
Little Trice. And those guys were gym rats. I mean, they lived, eat, and sleep in there. And I'm thinking all the hours they put in, and you got 40 minutes, 2 hours really, 40 actual minutes, but 2 hours of all the hours you have been in there. And I just said, guys, I wrote on the board, 2 hours of work for a lifetime of memories, and that's really what it is. If you do it right. And we went out there and won, so we ended up putting that on the wall.
I mean, it's amazing. And it's kind of fun if you ever go to the Hall of History or walk around, take a moment to look at some of the things on the wall and some of these sayings.
That one's down in the gym, in the auxiliary gym, because that's where they work. And, but yeah, and I mean, Tum Tum had one that we put up there because it meant so much to all of us at the end of every practice. Remember, Mike?
Yep.
We had different guys, and it was getting to that, some guys get entitled, some guys get spoiled, some guys are hungry, some guys are this and that. And he'd always say to them, remember, guys, and he started it out at the beginning telling them where he was from. And he was from the other side of the tracks of the Bahamas. And so he appreciated everything.
Yeah.
Everything. If he got a pair of shoes, he appreciated it. If he got a pair of socks, he appreciated it. And he always said at the end of every practice, remember, guys, we don't got to do this. We get to do this. And it was pretty cool. And so that too is up there because I think it's such an entitled world now that there's so many people that would like to have the opportunity to do what our guys do or what I do. And sometimes we forget that you don't have to do it. You get to do it. It is a privilege. It's a privilege to play here. It's a privilege to do the things we do every day. And we should appreciate it more. So I got a lot of things that I've learned over my years, and they're all good things because they're all things that withstood the test of time, and when those same sayings work 100 years ago, Doc, back when you were 50 years ago, and now still today, it just kind of tells you that it had to be something special. And that's the way I look at it.
It's great.
Your first Final Four, you walk on the court, you haven't tipped it off yet. What were you thinking?
Oh my God. My God. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, wow, I'm staying in a hotel on the beach. If the people in Iron Mountain could see me now. But I remember walking into that dome and down in Tampa, and it was just incredible. I mean, I'm looking over and we're getting ready to play Duke, and it's Mike Krzyzewski and
Chief, we were so green.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, we didn't. To be honest with you guys, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't. And the first one, remember, we stayed a million miles away from the practice facility where we had to practice. We didn't know.
Well, we didn't
no
have
idea.
a choice. I mean, they do put you in places, but then they tell you got a police escort. So I said, okay, we're a ways away, but police escort.
Oh, it was crazy.
Remember that? The police escorted us. And every light there was, he stopped. And I said, what's the escort for?
It's unbelievable.
And they said, well, in case something happens. And they said, if somebody jumps me, I don't care. Just get the bus to the practice, I mean.
Wow.
But that was, I'll tell you what really was funny about the first Final Four.
Man.
I called a couple of people I knew. I didn't know many. Chud was no help on this. But I said, how do you go about this? Well, my second Final Four, on the Sunday, we got the thing. I had every ticket done. I had every hotel room done. I had all the cousins and parents and this and that done. And the first one, we played on a Saturday. On Friday night, I got most of the hotels done. I mean, it was something that it took me all week, and it was a disaster. So I learned quickly. Thank God I got another chance.
That was all good. Well, when we come back here with more Tom Show, brought to you in part by Auto Owners Insurance, place where you can get some simple human sense, we're going to talk about Senior Day. And we've got some 4-year seniors. Back with more in a moment as you're listening to the Tom Izzo Show.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Meet, greet, and compete in Michigan's capital city. The Lansing Sports Commission is dedicated to helping you host your next athletic tournament or event in Greater Lansing. Our free services include everything from event development and tournament planning to promotions and recruiting volunteers. No matter the sport, the LSC can make your next event your best event. Plan on something greater. Find details at lansingsports.org.
At the Capital Region International Airport, we connect our community to the world with nonstop flights to Washington, D.C. and Chicago on American Airlines, Detroit on Delta Airlines, and Orlando, Fort Myers, and Tampa on Breeze Airways. When you fly Lansing, you're just one stop away from over 500 global destinations. And with direct flights to Cancun, Punta Cana, and Los Cabos from January through April, your escape to beautiful tropical beaches is easier than ever. The Capital Region International Airport, your gateway to the world. Visit flylansing.com for more information and to book your flight today.
Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
And we're back live with the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. We're also brought to you in part by MSU FCU, the official credit union of Spartan Athletics. And by the way, we kind of do this every show, but we do have a mic over here if you want to ask Coach a question. A lot of things to talk about, 2 big games coming up, got postseason play coming up. And so if you want to ask him about any of these things, the mic is there. And so before I ask you about senior day, I think we got a question, Tom. It's the slowest question ever. It's walking around the corner now. It's taking a big
You see
lap.
this guy here? He was my RA when I was at Northern Michigan University.
Yeah, in greasy, nasty hall.
So I don't have a question. And I know you guys have a lot of team meetings, but I'm one who is totally 100% down, no coaches at the meeting. Because since they had a player meeting a couple of days ago, that's a completely different team.
Oh, yeah. I always say that. You know, I told you, I always say a player-coach team is better than a coach-coach team. And then I told you one day I got an alum that wrote me, then why the hell we pay you so much? But you know what?
100%.
Players, sometimes players have to air it out, you know, and hold each other accountable. And that's illegal nowadays. I mean, we can't hold anybody accountable. So I force them to hold each other accountable. You know, I said, you guys have the meeting. Because if I'm in the meeting, I just get ticked off and then, whatever. So you guys get in a meeting and you have a meeting and you figure out what you want to do because it is your team, you know. And by the way, you seniors, I got another year or 2 or 3 or 5, I guess. You got, this is it. So you figure out what you want to say in that meeting. But if it was me, I'd be saying a hell of a lot in that meeting. And it's not like, let me tell you something. We practice so well. Mike's been at 75% of our practices. I have no complaints about that. We just, sometimes we don't bring the practice to the game. I say that. You know, I went over this in the locker room last night. We played Duke. We were tied with minutes left. We played Michigan. We were tied with 3-4 minutes left. We played UConn. They beat us. You know what those 3 teams are? They're all 1 seeds. Right. Then we beat Illinois. They're a 2 seed. We're 5 up on Nebraska, and they beat us down there by 2. We missed free throws at the end, and they're a 3 seed, I think. Purdue is a 2 seed. We beat them. And I keep saying, I don't know how good we are, but we've beaten a lot of teams that are 1. We haven't beaten the 1 seeds, but we're not afraid to play them. And we've beaten some 2s and some 3s. And so this team has done an incredible job. They're just, you know, Bill Raftery was come into the locker room before the game, and he says, are you still miserable? And I said, were you miserable as a coach? He said, hell no, I lost so many games, I learned how to accept it. And I said, when you have a real chance to have a really good team or a really good record or really good opportunities, they don't come around all the time. So why wouldn't you push it to the nth degree?
Right.
And that's kind of the approach I have.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's working. What do you guys think? Yeah, I think so.
And Gary, whether you believe this or not, I did have some of my fingerprints on that meeting, and so did my staff. Just a little bit.
I just want to know, Gary, if you were in charge of housing and stuff, did Mike really send dates over?
Mike was down campus. We didn't allow him up in our area.
Well, you know why? Because they didn't have any pretty girls up there. That's probably the reason why.
Oh, good to know.
You wouldn't hear me say something like that, man. That's politically not correct.
That's a good one.
Oh,
well,
boy.
Well, it's time for a little trivia here. You can win $25 from the Alumni Hall and a gift card and a couple tickets to our next game, which is Thursday, the last home game of the season, as we welcome in Rutgers. So all you got to do is know the answer to our trivia question, and you step up to the mic and tell us what you think. Well, as we have talked about, Jeremy Fears not only is leading the world in assists right now, he's also become the Big Ten's #1 free throw shooter. At the moment, he's shooting at a clip of 90.6% from the line. Now, he becomes just the fourth Spartan to ever shoot 90% or better from the free throw line. So, now here's the question. Who is the most recent Spartan to shoot at least a 90% clip from the free throw line in a single season. We've had Ford do it, and we think he will continue when the season's over to be there. Who was the last one to do it? 90% for a single season. No cheating on this. And we'll be back with more of the Tom Izzo Show presented by Auto Owners Insurance. You're on the Spartan Media Network.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer. It starts with our team and people like you. University of Michigan Health Sparrow is hiring for a wide variety of roles at all experience levels. Unlock your potential and discover a fulfilling career at one of our award-winning hospitals and health centers. We make a difference every day, together. Join us at careers.ufmhealthsparrow.org.
Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Show and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North Kitchen and Bar, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
This is Labatt, brewed for the fans who can't stop shouting shoot it, and the driveway heroes who still call raindrops on every brick. Make fun of a ref through the TV like he can hear you, then miss 3 straight free throws on your buddy's hoop. Argue every foul, celebrate every layup, and somehow think you're running the offense from Section 312. But that's the beauty of it. Basketball isn't just about the court, it's the noise, the passion, and the Labatt you're holding while you live it. Labatt, we're brewed for the roast. Enjoy responsibly. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
And welcome back for more of the Tom Izzo Show presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Don't forget, if you want a piece of the dream, go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket and own your dream. Well, the question in front of the house is to win $25 from the Alumni Hall and a couple tickets to our last home game of the year Thursday against Rutgers is who is the last Spartan to shoot 90% from the free throw line for the season? And we have a couple people. Fire away.
I'll go with Cash.
Does he have a last name?
Winston.
Okay, I think that's the guy.
All right.
There you go. He was amazing. The season was 17-18, 90% straight on. He was 91. He was 81 of 90. So think about that number for a minute. For the whole season, he was 81 of 90. Right now, Fears has fired 170 free throws, and we still got games to play. He had 90 for the whole year. Right now, Jeremy's 154 for 170.
Since you don't know, I got to ask Jack, who were the other? Was it Skiles and Neitzel? Were they over 90? And I don't know if you had enough of them. You have to have so many. All right, we got a question.
We do. Okay, Coach, you've often talked about that Judd left you something in the way of a note in the drawer. What note are you going to leave for the next coach?
Oh boy.
What, you trying to run him out?
No. You want us to vote in here?
That'll be one of those notes that I will leave one, I'm sure, because I was taught by a good guy. And by the way, before I answer that, I had the privilege of spending an hour and a half with Gene Katie the other day in the morning of our game. And it was priceless, man. I mean, I hated to tell him, I think I told Jack this, that he gave me some things to remember, that even though it's a changing world, there takes certain things to win big games. And so I told my team that. And you can imagine what his certain things were, because they're really what our two programs have done over the last 30 years. And so I told my team that, and then I didn't have the courage to call Gene and tell him thanks for the assist. But
do you remember that he came and spoke at one of our rebounders?
oh
meetings?
yeah.
It was so cool.
And and I brought him up here when they I think the reunion game, and Judd, we celebrated Judd's life then after he had passed, and so we flew Gene up because that was his best friend, and we were playing Purdue that night, and he came to everything, and he sat in my wife's box, and so he comes in the morning, and honest to God, he had everything on him was Purdue. And I told him, Gene, take your pants down. Do you have Purdue underwear on? He had shoes. He had socks. He had a cap. He had a shirt. He had a jacket over it. He had Purdue pants, little Boilermakers. In fact, every time we played Purdue, Judd used to go up there, and, him and Gene were close. And he'd say, Gene, come over here. He goes, introduce me to your son again. Boiler Pete, that big Boiler Pete looking with a big head. He used to tell him that was his son, And so, but Gene was absolutely great. And back to the note, I will leave somebody because I feel like this place is special to me. And whoever gets that job, I just hope they cherish it like I have. But I'll have, you have those notes. I remember giving my parents a note before I went to college. And then I wrote my dad a note before I came down here. You just have those certain times. And I don't know if you plan them. They just kind of happen. So that'll be a happening for me. Hopefully not this week.
I'm sure it'll be a good note.
Wow. Should I ask you what Judd's note was?
Yeah, that's the one I told you. I had 74 things on the note. It started out with, make sure you take care of your secretaries. Second one was, yes, make sure you take care of the managers and stuff. And don't forget where you came from. And one of them was, remember, don't even bother complaining about the officials. You'll have 2-3 years, you won't get a call. 31 years later, that hasn't changed. So I don't know what the hell Judd was talking about, but
that's really cool. Hey, by the way, I want to mention this so I don't forget. Thursday, obviously, we play Rutgers for Seniors Day. Well, Mike is going to have a book signing here at One North. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's 5.
Put your mic down there, Ace.
Okay, at 5. I'm always a co-pilot, as you know. But yeah, 5 to 7, we'll be here, and I'll be answering questions about the program and signing my book. And if you want to have some fun and hear a little bit more about what's in the book, come and join us right here.
Love it. I might come by before the game.
That would be something. Great. Okay. By the way, you want to join us every weekday for the Michigan Sports Brief, brought to you by Frankenmuth Insurance. Find a local independent agent near you at fmins.com. We'll be back with more Tom Show, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance in a moment, right here on the Spartan Media Network.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Spartan fans, choose chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes these moments when you choose to rise above the noise and choose chill even better. Coors Light is the official beer of Michigan State Athletics, so crack one open and take a sip. Coors Light, Choose Chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Beer.
Here's a club you'll want to get into, Club Citgo. It's the super easy app that opens the door to great fuel savings and more. Sign up and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up, plus everyday savings that really add up. You can also enter our sweepstakes with multiple winners and giveaways, like free gas for a year. And Club Citgo makes paying easy with a convenient mobile pay feature. So welcome to the club where all the action is. Download Club Citgo today. Savings good up to 30 gallons, only at participating locations. Data rates may apply.
You love the thrill of the game, but not from the sidelines. As the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics, McLaren Orthopedics and Sports Medicine can help you get back in action. Our team of experts specialize in the prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of sport injuries. Whether you're swinging a bat, shooting hoops, or running the trails, we make you feel like a pro at any age. Learn more at McLaren.org.
Auto Owners Insurance presents the Tom Izzo Show, and welcome back. Real quick before we take a question, little stat update. Jeremy Fears right now needs 29 more assists the rest of the way to become our all-time assist leader for a single season. And he's at 9.1 per game on the average, which makes him number one in the nation. And I think he's going to catch the cash and blow by him on that one. And also, which is kind of fun to think about it, he has 9 double-doubles this year. A lot of assist guys don't score like he does or vice versa. Are you surprised by that, Tom?
Well, yes, I guess I am, to be honest with you. But his shooting has improved a lot. And I think he finally this year really started working on it, to be honest with you. And but I don't know what he's getting. But at one time, he was getting 7-8 free throws a game. Game. Right. So you got to make 1 or 2 baskets and you get a double-double, But it has been, incredible what he's done, and he's gotten better. And but when you get 10 assists a game, somebody's got to make those baskets, and that's helped too. It's like a receiver and a quarterback. I mean, you need each other, and I think Jeremy is maturing as the day goes on. And I mean, that's normal, and it's normal. I mean, Mateen, it's took a year or two, and that's just the way it is now. And so he's rounding out. We got to keep getting him to push that ball a little bit more, because in the open court, we're really good. And yet, for the first time in the half court, we were really good on it. Absolutely. So hopefully that's something bright for the future. Questions?
Hi, Steve from Lansing. I read an analysis of Michigan State's victory over Indiana by a Sports Illustrated person. And by the way, he had wonderful, accurate, and glowing things to say about you. You should be proud of that, because we certainly are.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, during that analysis, he compared last year's Michigan State team with this year's Michigan State team. And he felt the strength of last year's team was in numbers. We just kept throwing fresh bodies at the other teams, and they finally wore out, and we finally won. He said this year doesn't have quite the numbers, but the strength of this year's team is the fact that every game there's 3, 2, 4 guys that just step up and really lead the team to victory. And the thing that makes that difficult for the opposition is you never know which 4 guys are going to be the guys. During the 2 or 3 or 4 days leading up to a game, do you notice anything during practice and statistics, et cetera, that you're just going to say, hey, these 3 guys are going to have great games? Or is it matchups, or are you surprised like we are?
The honest statement to that I told Coach Katie. He's the person that, his wife wasn't there, and there's another woman and her husband that spend a lot of time with him and help take care of him, named Lily. And she says, Coach, would you mind if he came to the shoot around? I said, I'd love to have him come to the shoot around. He said, you wouldn't be concerned? I said, Coach, I don't know who's going to play good in the game. So you can't know who's going to play good until Matt, because I don't know. And that's the truth. It does depend on matchups sometimes. It depends on a lot of things. But like Jackson has been in a slump, he really has. And he was a little sick. There's a lot of things. He came back from the West Coast trip and, struggled a little bit. And, it just happens. Then Coop wasn't playing as good. Now Coop's playing better. Now Jackson has a big night, Kurtang, I'm telling you, man, my mother motivated him. Most of you thought that was insulting. There's a lot of ways to get through to a player, man. Now, I got to admit, I've never used a 99-year-old mother before, but I'll use anybody. I'll use anybody. I'm not proud of anything. I will, any way I can get through to a kid, I'll try it, But we laughed in a meeting today, because somebody said something about he got a rebound, kind of above the net. Not above the rim now, above the net. I'd say, Kerr, I watched my mom dunk on LeBron. So you got a ways to go yet, And he laughed, they laughed, and it's been good. But no, you are right about this team. You are right about last year's team. The schedule we played this year has even been tougher, if you ask me. And, I was talking to Jace Richardson the other day, and last night, this is the cool things in my job. I do get some cool things, Terry Jackson, Jaren's mom, like she follows and she calls me. She goes, "Oh, that was so great." And she goes through plays, she actually watches the games. And I think that's still the most incredible part of this job at this university, just like you are in this fan base. Someday we're going to have a bad year, and just don't forget, all the good things, because it's over time, Decisions are sometimes made for the betterment of the program than they are the betterment of a certain team. And boy, those people though they've been awesome. They still stay in touch.
Great. Good luck Thursday.
Thanks, man.
Think about this. 31 years at this, playing one of the greatest schedules in the history of college basketball. Tom's won over 71% of those games. He did not subscribe to the Syracuse scheduling mode, and that's really cool. It's interesting, though, since we're talking about stuff that you might not have expected. In that game against Indiana, 77.9% of our scoring came from three guys. We talked about the great Kohler, 21 points, 13 boards. Jeremy had 21 points, and Tang had 18. That was almost 78%
what you have
of your
to
stuff.
have is, in this selfish world we live in, you have to have people like, I think of Frankie last year. He started out in the summer, he was starting, and then he was playing 14 minutes a game, and yet he helped us win games and helped us get to the Elite Eight. And I think about Trey as, hoping this would happen and this would happen, and things don't happen, but all of a sudden he makes some shots to help you win a game, and I think that's when your team gets along, because those players stick by players that have been up and down. I'll give Jeremy the best thing he did this year is he really figured out that Jax Kohler gets so upset with himself that I very seldom have to get upset with him, because he's so mad at himself. I got to play the good cop. Right. And so I said to Jeremy, I'm not getting through to him as the good cop. You should try. You're the one that passed him the ball. And, Jeremy did a hell of a job for a couple weeks. He really did. And Jackson came in one day. He said, Jeremy told me I just got to take my time. I said, well, he knows a hell of a lot more than I know, Jack. So you do whatever he says. And those are the neat things about teams that are together, connected, I guess is the word we use around there. And I've been so fortunate the last 2 years, because we have not been as talented, but we have been more connected. Question. Let's go to questions.
Hi, Coach. Don from DeWitt. In this day and age of seemingly never-ending college careers, is there any hope of milking a little more eligibility for Jackson Coop?
I don't know. I'm sure I can find a judge here. Judge Mathis was at my last game, so maybe I'll bring Maybe I'll bring Judge Mathis in and see if he can. He likes us, so maybe he'll just give us a pardon or something. But I don't know. I'm more worried about Jaron Jackson, Magic Johnson, Miles Bridges. I'm going to bring those. They got legitimate eligibility left. And I think Urban would do it for me for a game. I really do. And but I don't know. I just heard of some guy looking for a 7th year as a quarterback now. 7 years. You get your. I don't know, boy. Social Security comes right after he graduates. It's funny, but it's really sad. And I think, what? This is my last show. This is what I think. I told my AD and my president, I think we have to be more transparent with you, the people. Because if you really know how ridiculous it is, there'd be enough complaining and everything where maybe Congress, the NCAA would listen to you because they don't listen to us. And I got a text last week. I wish I could play it for you from Kirk Herbstreit. You all know who Kirk Herbstreit is. He's one of the best, and he's a football guy, and he works with Nick. And Nick is on that committee now, and Kirk was just saying his own kids are playing, and how crazy he looks at it. And his one thing was, the only problem I have is, what are we teaching people to do in their jobs? Are we teaching them to fight through things? Are we teaching them to quit? And I don't care if you're a Mason. I don't care if you're a teacher. I don't care if you're a basketball player. I don't care if you're mayor, governor. It's all the same. That's not what you do. And for some reason, we're going to teach 18 to 22-year-olds how to do that. It's going to be a cold day in hell before I'm going to do that. Okay? A cold day in hell. And so I'm going to just keep fighting the fight and see, but it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And so maybe you all have to help a little bit. And so.
Well, Coach, thanks to you and the coaches and the team for another fantastic year. And there is nothing better than being a fan of this program.
Well, Don, thank you. And I'll say this too. There's been some incredible crowds over the years. I think I always look at Jack because he's seen everything from pre-Judd on, and I'm not sure we've ever had as many packed houses. Like I do check the corners. I learned from Al McGuire, when you walk out there, look up in the corners. And if it's filled, your job's safe.
It's true.
And that place, I always say to Wojcik on the bench, I said, it's a Tuesday night. We're playing a team that at the time wasn't rated high. It was an 8:30 game. I said, these people are insane. It's packed. How cool is that? So hats off to all of you.
And you
appreciate you.
You are right. There's nothing better than senior night here.
No, senior night's special because we honor everybody that touched it, managers, student girls, and players. And I put a lot into senior night. So
can we talk about that in a minute?
We can talk about anything you want, man. It's your show.
Actually, it's the Tom Izzo Show. I got a card that says that. We'll be back with more in a moment right here as you're listening to the Tom Izzo Show.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random +1.
I am honored to be standing here today, also confused and a little hungry. Does anyone want to switch entrees? Pretty sure I checked beef.
You wouldn't settle for just any speech, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The Spartan Media Network when you need it.
That's right. The Spartan Media Network now is on podcast platforms. Did you miss a MSU Coaches Show or want to check out exclusive interviews? Well, check out the Spartan Media Network and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Spartan Media Network, now at your fingertips.
Honey, did you pay the rent this month? Because I just received a late notice.
Sorry, what's that?
Wait, are you gambling online again?
Me? No, not at all.
If managing the bills and your betting has become a challenge, self-excluding from online gambling or sports betting might be for you. Learn more at don'tregretthebet.org. A message from the Michigan Gaming Control Board. Have a gambling problem? Call the National Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-GAMBLER.
And we're back with more of the Tom Izzo Show presented by Auto Owners Insurance. And don't forget, when you shop Meijer, you're helping the entire community. Learn more at Meijer.com/community. And we're live from One North Kitchen and Bar in East Lansing, home of all the MSU Coaches Shows. Before I ask Tom about senior night, I do want to mention one last time on the show. So we're getting ready to wrap up the regular season. The Boo Law Firm has been sponsoring their Beyond the Arc campaign for several years now. And I've always thought that $10,000 is sort of the ceiling, because every time we make a $25 is donated by the Boo Law Firm. Same with the Robbins women's team. Well, we're going to pass 11,000 this year, and that's really something. So thanks to the Boo Law Firm and all they do for the Izzo Legacy Foundation. That's pretty cool.
That scares me. I hope he doesn't have to sue me to make enough money to get that thing paid off.
I know, it's a bunch.
I'll have to talk to Andrew. But, speaking of that, our women have had a hell of a year, too. And then they had a tough day Saturday. And I talked to Robin today, and that is the problem. I got a text from Mike Krzyzewski a couple of weeks ago when we got beat by, or when we barely beat Ohio State. And he said, I watched your press conference. You weren't happy. He goes, that was good for you. I said, what's so good for me about it? He said, when you get near tournament time, you better get the attention that every point, everything matters, because it's going to come down to, usually in tournament games, 1 or 2 points. And so I told Robin the same thing. You just got to use this as a, how you get things done, because team shot 18 threes against them. And, she hasn't given up that. And, Wisconsin made 16 threes or something against us, and it was funny because I called Adam, after they got beat 5-1, and I said, did you play bad? He says, their goalie was really good. We peppered them a few times, and things like that happen, and then they had this shootout. I wish I could have been there. It was unbelievable. Like how many? Like 13? Wow. Am I glad we won that thing, but 13, that's incredible. I saw a little deal today that, when you look at our women's team, our men's team, and our hockey team, we're all ranked pretty high in the country. That says a lot for our university, athletic department, athletic director, president, everybody else. So hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Well, we have Senior Day coming up Thursday. Believe it or not, we have some 4-year seniors. It's a rare breed, but we have 3 of them. Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, Nick Sanders, to go along with Denim Wojcik and Trey Fort. So what do you think about this group? Good group, don't you think?
Has been a good group in a lot of different ways. Of course, Jackson and Coop have been, just every year got better, just like it hope happens, just like it's supposed to be. I wish they would have sped it up a little bit. I wish I'd have been smart enough to redshirt Coop. Coop just turned 21. I mean, he's a very young, mad at his mother for sending the school so early, but he's been that. And, Nick Sanders, I think a lot of people think because Barry, swear to God, my decision to take him had zero to do with Barry, even though Barry's been unbelievable and great and everything. And but Nick is a man of his own, and he's been on that scout team, and he's done so much, and he's been in that locker room, and he's been such a good guy academically, and I want to keep him around. I'm trying to keep him as a GA.
We'll be back to wrap her up in just a moment right here on the Spartan Media Network.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the seat view feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
This is Labatt, brewed for the fans who can't stop shouting "shoot it," and the driveway heroes who still call raindrops on every brick. Make fun of a ref through the TV like he can hear you, then miss 3 straight free throws on your buddy's hoop. Argue every foul, celebrate every layup, and somehow think you're running the offense from Section 312. But that's the beauty of it. Basketball isn't just about the court, it's the noise, the passion, and the Labatt you're holding while you live it. Labatt, we're brewed for the roast. Enjoy responsibly. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
From the biggest of the big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go!
Run, James!
No. First base!
Go, go, go! Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Hey, Spartan fans! It's college basketball season, and SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of airballs and alley-oops. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be part of all the courtside action this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to MSU basketball games or to any other live event in East Lansing, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of MSU basketball. Go green, go white, SeatGeek.
Welcome back. We're brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Got about 90 seconds, real quick. Chris Ordway, thanks for all your help the entire season. Over in the corner, Gage Dansby. And back in the studios, Matt Contreras, Valenzuela. Well, Tom, what a season, huh?
Yeah, it's been a good season, but now the real season's getting started. You know, that's why March is March. And we've got a couple big games coming up this weekend. And then we go to Chicago, and then we're going somewhere. And we got to figure out a way to keep winning games and keep getting better. And if we keep getting better, I don't know. You know, I really don't know. This team has surprised even me. I'm pleased with it. You fans, this radio show, you've been phenomenal. We might even go over a second. Will, the hell with it. This is the last show. See you guys later. Thanks.
You've been listening to the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. Labatt Blue Light, we're brewed for the roast. Meijer, supporting hundreds of sports teams across the Midwest. Coors Light, choose chill. Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. The Tom Izzo Show is a presentation of Playfly Sports in partnership with Michigan State Athletics. All rights reserved. Join us next time on this network station for all the Spartan basketball action on the Spartan Media Network.